Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host, Myron. Today, I've got to get some things off of my chest. But before we get into that, I got to say that it was a pretty good day today and yesterday. So let me break down what's about to happen in the future. Going forward, the Virginia ABC has changed how they do their drops. But we're going to get to that in a minute. That's not the only thing that's happening in the future. This is a card from Westward. I have been in talks with some other channels out there. We are possibly about to do a barrel pick, so it will be my first barrel pick. So shout out to the other channels out there. You guys know who you are. We've got some meetings set up to go over some samples. If everything goes well, hopefully we will be able to bring you guys a group American whiskey pick at cash strength from Westward. So, keep your eyes on that. Also, shout out to the good brother Robert, Cutlass High Proof. I want you guys to vote and tell me which one of these you want to see on the next Sunday sample video I do, video that I shoot, because I think I'm about out of the video. I still have a ton of samples, but I think I'm about out of the videos that I've shot. So the good brother Robert sent me Detling 1867, the Fuck Cancer Bourbon Together group pick. This thing comes in at 116.6 proof. Crittenden Cut Above Mississippi Toasted Pecan, 110 proof, aged 5 years. This one is the Old Dominic Cash Strength, 121.16 proof, aged 6 years. And then last but not least, you've got the Uncle Near Single Barrel Benny's Pick, 122.6 proof. Shout out to Making Life Changes, because he mentioned about how much he liked that Uncle Near Single Barrel. Now I haven't had it, so when I do the Sunday sample video, you might see a little bit maybe have evaporated out of the bottle. All right, but anyway, you see these two bottles on the channel sitting here beside me. I was able to walk into the ABC store and pick both of these up. Now I hate the new rules of the Virginia ABC, and let me read you what they are. Limited availability product update starting August 6th. Virginia ABC will begin a new selling process for limited availability products. Bottles will be for sale on a store-by-store basis at random locations, dates, and times without notification. When I got that photo across my screen, I almost lost it. Virginia ABC has been botching everything from drops to lotteries, man. So I don't know if you guys know this. The people who live in the Virginia ABC area where they can put in for lotteries and drops, they had multiple winners from the same household on some of their prized bottles. And people were like, how is that even possible? Back in the day, Virginia ABC used to put their inventory on their website. So you could go on their website about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, type in a certain bottle, no matter what it was, and if it was in that Virginia ABC system, it would tell you how many of those bottles were going to that store, and 99% of the time, it was correct. So it would tell you what those bottles were and how many were going to the store. Well, there was a big fiasco, because someone down, I believe in the Richmond area, allegedly, this is supposedly people went to jail, was selling information, and that information was being sold, and that information was getting out prior to the day that those bottles were going to be shipped to those stores, and people would kind of go to those stores super early and hang out. So what they did was they changed the whole drop system, fired a lot of people. Some people, like I said, supposedly were prosecuted, and they fired a lot of people, and they changed the drop system to where, hey, we're going to announce whenever we're going to do these drops, so that it is public knowledge, and everybody who signs up for our app or our emails, they can get these. So that seemed to work out, but it did cause some commotion, because you could get a notification, go to a store, and just see people running across the parking lot. It would start out like a small walk, shuffle, and then it was a full-on sprint sometimes, man. It was funny to watch. So that kind of was, to me, one of the fairest ways to do it, because they would say, hey, we've got this store, and this store, they're going to get a drop of these bottles, and then you would pick the store that you wanted to go to, and then you would just show up at that store and hopefully get that bottle. And then I also noticed that they did not hire a lot of people who knew about bourbon. So I started noticing that when I would go in the store, I would have people say, hey, can I help you? Oh, no, I'm just browsing, just looking at the bourbon section. Well, why don't you think about trying this right here? Or have you ever had this right here? And it'd be something like Basil Hayden or very old Barton, like the 80 proof. So matter of fact, that happened to me today. But anyway, they changed the drop system. And like I said, that was kind of a fair approach in my opinion. And I think everybody kind of settled on, well, hey, I know I just have to get to X, Y, and Z in order to get bottle X, Y, and Z in a certain amount of time. Some people, it kind of, it screwed them over because sometimes they would release it while people were at work. Sometimes they would release it at night. It was a very random system, but I felt like that system was fair. So when I read the new way that they're going to do the drop, I was like, how does that make sense? I was like, now they're not trying to fix anything. They're just turning a blind eye to it. Because if I have all of the information and I don't release that information to the public, how is the public going to know that a bottle has been released? And the reason why I say that is because what is to stop a person who works in that store from being from repeating what happened the first time, selling off information or tipping off their buddies? Hey, yesterday evening we got several bottles of this specific chased sought after bourbon, and we're probably going to get the email to release it sometime this week, so be looking out for my phone call. How can you be transparent if you're keeping all of the information to yourselves? And I said, now I will probably never ever see a bottle. But you know how we are as humans, we're all critics until something works in our favor. So I was like, I will never see a bottle. And then someone posted on Facebook in one of the groups, hey, paying it forward, the King George store, and put the number of the store, has these on the shelf. Get them if you can. So I was like, you know what? I really didn't think about it until one of my buddies, texted the group saying he got one. So I was like, you know what? That store's about 40 minutes from me. It was a long day at work today because of the storms. And I normally don't work on Fridays. I said, when I get home, I'm going to drive 40 minutes. And I asked him how many were left. He said it was 2. I said, I'm going to drive there. It's a limit 1 per day. I'll see if I can get my hands on one. So I drove 40 minutes to that store, and sure enough, it was sitting on the shelf. And it was sitting on the shelf for $109. So 109, I think 99. So you're not going to find this bottle in the wild for the most part for that price. So that is when I started to thinking about, you know what, maybe the rule changes aren't that bad, because we all can go in and pick up classics like Rare Breed, at retail, great price. They're not going to jack the price up. That's why, I love going to the Virginia ABC. But that new rule, I was kind of salty, man. And then I started noticing that, hey, I'm just checking on my other stores, because now I feel like you have to go every day. Like, at first you got a drop notification that said, hey, go to this store, and this store. These bottles will be at these stores. So you knew which store you wanted to pick and go to. Now you have to go in a store pretty much every day, or several stores every day, just to see if they put out anything. So that part right there is super frustrating, but it does add that element of hunt back to bourbon hunting, because you have to check different stores, go in those stores, look up and down the aisles. And I'll say this, it may keep those people honest, because I was talking to one guy today and he told me that the new rules from corporate is that they are not allowed to say anything. If you call that store and say, hey, I saw this bottle on Facebook, someone says it's at your store, they have to say, you just have to come in the store and see. Also, he told me you can't even walk up to him in the store and say, hey, do you have this bottle? He can only say, you have to check the shelves. So hopefully that keeps people honest. What I also like about the new system is, and this is from me checking from store to store, is that when I was going from store to store after they changed it over on August 6th, I noticed that I was seeing more things on the shelf. So I was seeing more picks, like the Knob Creek picks. I was seeing the Redwood Empire. I saw the new cigar cut from Old Elk, the new punch cut. So I was like, maybe this is a good thing. And then it also kind of gets people used to seeing a bottle on the shelf. Like, you're not dealing with FOMO as much anymore, because you start to think, hey, that bottle's going to be there again. And then when it comes back in, you'll see it restocked. I can just pick that bottle up whenever I need to. It doesn't make you feel like you need to rush to get that bottle anymore. I don't need to rush to this store to get that bottle anymore. Hey, I'll just go in this store, just casually look around. If I find a great bottle, great. If not, oh well, I'll probably find it on the next go. So that is something that I started to think about. Like, should I really hate this rule? I am. At first, I was very, very, very upset. I was like, Virginia ABC, they just can't do anything right. And I was in there and I was talking to another customer. She was in there looking up and down the Bourbon aisle, and she was like, this is a fiasco. I mean, it was just, we were just knocking it. And like I said, I started to think to myself, after seeing certain bottles that I don't always see on the Virginia ABC shelf, I was like, maybe this isn't a bad thing. So I don't necessarily really hate it, and like I said, shout out to William Evans. You guys put in the comments how you feel about this new ABC rule, or how your state does things. This is definitely going to be reviewed on the channel. I've got to put this Rare Breed on the channel, man. It is a classic. I've never put a bottle of Rare Breed on the channel, and I don't know why. Rare Breed is one of my favorites. Even when I picked it up off the shelf, the dude was like, solid choice. I was like, yes, sir. I said, always, because it is always a solid choice. But it is one of those, if you saw my other videos, sloth bottles. Let me take a drink, man. Cheers. First drink of the day, and my first ever Michter's Barrel Strength. Can't wait to get that one on the channel for you guys. Anyway, but yeah, this is always a solid pour. Can't wait to get this one on the Shelf Life channel, because like I said, it's just a classic. I'm sorry to be all over the place. I'm trying to think, because this was going to be more of just an opinion video, kind of a rant video. You see a brother hasn't even shaved, looking a little scruffy. That's why I got the hat on. I worked long hours a day. I couldn't come home and cut my hair and film and everything. So, but I had to get this off my chest and had to get it on the channel. So let's do a quick recap. I hate the fact that they're holding the information, and there's a possibility that there will be insider trading, if you will, and some illegal activity going on. But I am liking the fact that I'm seeing more stuff on the shelves that I don't normally see. And now when someone posts it, I can just go to that store, and if they have it, hey, great. Or just walk into a store and stumble on something like, the Old Elk punch cut, like I did earlier today. So I think there's pros and cons with everything, of course. I think we might benefit more from the pros with the new update to the rules. And with that being said, let the whiskey flow. Never run out unless you head it to a drop. Till next time.